Welcome to Nifnex TV Perth. My name is Zeeshan Pasha and I'm your host. Nifnex TV is where small business issues that you have get sent in to us and we address them via a panel of experts. Now, the case study that we're approaching today is about the leads, the quality of leads. So every small business owner needs leads. Do we sort of get the leads from social media, tenders as a more proactive approach? And once those leads come in, what do you do with them? Do you actually work it on a CRM and sort of follow through it? So we've got Doug, we've got Sue, and we've got Anton in here to address that case study and see and share their expertise with us. Welcome, Anton, Sue, and Doug. It's another case study, and you excited?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. It's of course, the case study is all about quality leads and how do people actually find them. So could we just go around the room, just introducing ourselves, and then we'll get straight into it.
Thanks, Zeeshan. Yeah, my name is Anton. My business is called Design Life Technologies, and we help small and medium-sized businesses to build better relationships with their clients.
Yeah.
So once you've attracted leads to your businesses, it's about how do you treat those customers from that first point of contact all the way through to turning them into paying customers, turning them into repeat customers, and also turning them into raving fans that will give you referrals freely, and in this way really stimulate your sales.
Perfect. Sue.
So my name's Sue, as Zeeshan said, from Bid Buddy. So what I do is help businesses become more credible in the eyes of their clients or their potential clients, and then I help them win business by bidding for work through proposals and tenders. So I show them what they need to do to build their bid library up and look credible, and I help them write the tenders and show them how to win them.
Okay.
Yeah, my name is Douglas Lim, and just under about 6 years ago started an online web design and marketing company called Alyka. So based in Subiaco, we help clients get a website presence, but once you get a presence online, you need to get traffic to it, website traffic. So help our clients through things like search engine optimization, Google AdWords, and social media.
Perfect. I think we've got a pretty good group to talk about the quality leads. So where do we start from? Basically, everyone wants leads. Everyone wants quality leads. So no one just wants leads coming in and wasting the time and everything else. So should we start with tenders as a proactive approach to get leads?
Sure, yeah. So the first thing we need to do is get very clear about what a quality client is and what a quality lead is. So in my simple definition, I would call a quality client one that gives you the best return for the least grief. And I would call a quality lead as one that is worth following up and has a probability of success. So the first place I would start would be to go through your client base and get rid of those clients who are not quality, the ones who give you the most trouble for the least return. And then I would look to replace them proactively with clients that will give you more return. So there's a place, so you start looking. If you're interested in the public sector and going for government work, there's a lot of good information out there on the tender sites. And you can download their strategic plans and you can look at what is going on in your industry within those government departments. Maybe they are replacing all of their equipment or building new buildings and that sort of thing. So you can find out what they're up to, and then you can go through the history of what they've bought in the past and what value it is within your market. And that gives you a good place to start. The next thing you need to know is how are they in their contract? And how far through the term are they? Because if they've just started the contract, they're not going to want to talk to you. So you need to find out whether they're within, say, 18 months of the contract expiry, and then they are interested, because they have to go back out to tender, and you are in the perfect place to start talking to them and building a relationship. Once they're out to tender, it's too late. You can't build the relationship, and they need to know you to win. So the private sector is a little more difficult because they don't publish that kind of information. So you really need to call them and ask them whether they've got a contract for your services. If they haven't, great, make an appointment. If they have, then the second question is, when is it due? Because again, don't waste your time or their time by asking for a meeting, because they're not going to be interested in talking to you. So that would be the approach that I would take. First of all, get clear on who you're chasing, what target market you've got, and then get onto the tender websites and start looking for the information that you need and do your research.
Brilliant. Okay. I mean, going to the other angle of it. Now, I love networking, so that's a place that I pick up business cards or form a relationship with people. Then, of course, you direct them to a coffee meeting, for example. But
Thank you. I forgot to say that actually, because how do you find prospective clients that are not going to be a quality client? So networking is perfect. Join the CCI or one of these organisations and keep your ears open for industry gossip, because the bad clients will bubble to the top.
Yes.
And you'll hear a lot about the ones that you don't want to chase as a client. Once you've got them, they're a problem, and so don't buy into the problem in the first place. Thank you for reminding me, Zeeshan.
Or you can come along to Nifnex events, of course.
Absolutely.
So once you've got them, you then direct them to a website and whatnot, and of course you get them to sort of follow social media. That's where you come in, Doug. So how do you get them to? How do you find or sort of work out who are the quality people that you want to work with?
Yeah, well, it all comes back to, like you said, networking. So what I like to do is, if I get on a networking function, I'll grab the business card, and there's an app that you can use called Card Munch. Scan it, you'll hook it directly into their LinkedIn profile, add them on LinkedIn, because as you know, when you network, sometimes if you network with 50 million people, you don't have time to catch up with every single person for a coffee, but it just keeps them on the radar, because if you're using LinkedIn, you can then post quality content, and then those people, like Sue said, they'll bubble up because they're going to comment on your content. I've had people come up to me and say, just like at the Nifnex event, love your content, love reading it, and I didn't even know he was on my LinkedIn. and from that, we've established a coffee catch-up.
Yes.
So it's things like that. So you've always got to give before you can take. So by giving, and people that engage with your content, they're going to be quality leads because they've taken the time to read your stuff. They appreciate what you have to offer, and when it comes to price, they're going to appreciate the price that you're offering because of the level of service and the quality that you're providing. So that's what I do. That's one aspect.
So that's the bubbling version. Is there something that you can actually go, okay, these are the people who are interacting, but how do I get to the quality side of it? They may very well be quality, but so how do you work out if they're the ones you've been working with or want to work with?
Yep. So this is what I do, but I tend to qualify my leads. So obviously when you're catching up with them, I call it asking expensive questions. So for example, I know this dentist and he has this form, and what he writes is, do you need whitening treatment? Do you need crowns set up? And he asks all these expensive questions because he filters them out. So if you tick it, he knows this is a client that needs this stuff. So I like to qualify them that way. I do go on their social media profiles, so I have a look at what they're about, find out more about them, understand their business, and that's where social media really helps. And I also use social media to connect with them. So in terms of quality leads, usually the turnaround time. So if I've sent you a message on LinkedIn and it's 3 weeks later, I know you're extremely busy. So it's probably, if I were to catch up with you, it's probably going to be in a long, long time. So therefore the buying cycle is going to be a very long time. So it's all these little things that I do that kind of give me an impression. Whereas like what you were saying, Sue, they bubble to the top. They reply straight away, they're on the ball, they're proactive. That's a client I want to work with, because it's going to make it so much easier when dealing with them to get stuff back. True. They're going to respond quicker, which means everyone's happy because the job gets done.
So the flip side of it, of course, if they're not replying on time or they don't have proper social media that they're using, then usually people will go after them saying, oh, they don't have social media, this is the person that I want to sort of target to get social media for them. But if not, it just means that they're too busy to do anything with you. So it means that the buying cycle is long.
Yeah,
so you are actually chasing up a wrong lead, so to speak.
That's right.
Okay.
Exactly right. And like I say, I like to filter them out because there's only so much time in a day that we've all got, and And it's not saying that those people that you have to chase, they're not quality leads as per se, but it's just you value your time.
True.
You value your time, and
Target.
you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Target your effort.
That's right. Target your effort. So
There you go.
But I'm interested to hear what Anton's view is it from, like, once you get the client, how do you transfer them into a raving fan? That's something I'd love to learn.
Well, thanks for that, Doug. Yeah, absolutely. Because my work and the work of my business almost starts at the point when you've already attracted the people to your website.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Sue mentioned building relationships, and I strongly believe that it's all about building relationships. And whether you get to people through networking or through social media or through approaching them directly, it's all about building relationships. Now, as we all know, most of our relationships these days are actually built online. Even our relationships with friends and family are maintained online. And it's perfectly acceptable to interact with people on email or on social media. Obviously, it's great to intermingle some personal contact with that as well. But people are quite comfortable with building relationships online. And this is a great opportunity actually for us to use technology and to use things like CRM systems and systems that we use, for instance, Infusionsoft, which is designed to help you to deliberately build a process through which you will bring people into your business and to bring them in from the cold, if you like, as cold leads, and then turn them into paying customers. And we can do things like what you mentioned there about qualifying leads and picking out the quality by looking at their behavior. So if we look at how often they open our emails, or how do they respond, or do they watch our videos, or do they watch our videos to the end, or do they only watch the first 30 seconds and then go, we can actually go and identify the, let's say, the heat of a lead, or the score of a lead, of how they are hotting up in the buying process, because everybody's got a different buying process. And the technology allows us to do this with a great number of people in an automated way, which then bubbles the people to the top who are interacting with our systems, and then maybe once they've reached a certain level of interaction or of engagement, we can then go over into a sales mode, or where we give them a physical phone call, or we would arrange a coffee meeting and that sort of thing. But the key here is that the technology allows us to automate this so that we can go out and have hundreds of people interact with our business in an automated way, and allow us the ability to just pick off the quality leads that are almost at the point where they're ready to buy, and engage with them then on a personal level.
Yeah. Brilliant. So how do you tie in the social media? Obviously the social media can tie in with those the funnels as well.
Absolutely, yeah. The social media is how you can get to a wide audience of people. So by sharing information, like Doug mentioned, putting content out there and giving content away for free, and giving your knowledge and your expertise away for free. Share that on a social media and on a social platform, which then makes people aware of your business, and eventually they will become, if they like what you're saying and they're interested in what you're saying, they are going to visit your website. At some point they will be interested enough for them to leave you with their contact details, their email address or whatever, which is an indication from their side that they're interested in what you've got to offer, and it's a permission for you to start engaging with them back.
Yeah.
And that will allow you then to continue your process of education, or nurture, as it's known in marketing circles, to give them information about your product. I think a big challenge in most businesses is to get people to understand the value of their service.
Yeah.
And you can't do that just with a website.
No.
You probably have 10 seconds when somebody lands on your website, so it's not going to happen in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You need that time. And to get that time with somebody, you need to be giving them content, you need to be giving them value, and then you can measure their engagement by looking at how they sort of interact with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's relevant points there. If you had to sort of go maybe 3 steps back, it makes a huge difference as to where you're networking. I mean, to get those quality clients, where you're sort of advertising, where you're sort of promoting, where you're putting your message out there. Even if you're using Google, say AdWords, or even Facebook ads, who are you actually targeting to get that? So rather than just putting up a Facebook ad, or you can target your audience, like you mentioned in the seminar the other day.
Yeah.
Pinpointing them.
Absolutely, yeah. Like everything you put on your Facebook profile, your likes, your age, your sex, your marital status gets collated by Facebook into a database, And then it's marketer's dream, because then we can market and laser target. And even within Australia now, like they've got it in the US, but you can actually target by suburbs, certain suburbs in Perth now. So you can target someone living in Bull Creek. So it's gone to that level of targeting, which is just amazing, because once you know your target demographics of your ideal clients, you can just target them on Facebook, which you can't do like as well on Google. You can't target like that on Google.
Yeah.
So, but having said that, you know, even on Google, you can work out the sort of what we call short tail, long tail keywords that your target audience would type into Google, and then optimize for that, and then it's much more of a qualified lead, because you know what they're looking for.
Yeah.
From a corporate perspective, LinkedIn is wonderful. Let's say you decide that your target market are the oil and gas companies because you're a cleaning company and you want to go in and into that environment. Then I would recommend using LinkedIn to find amongst your contacts those, the three degrees of separation. Find somebody that you know who can introduce you to the buyer within those organisations, because the introduction route is far easier and far more effective than the cold call. So LinkedIn is a marvellous tool for doing that.
Amazing. From a tenders and proposals point of view, though, Sue, how would people go about? Actually, I mean, as you said, there's information out there from public company, but not private. So, what can businesses really do from a proposals perspective and tenders to get those quality sort of leads to proactively?
With the private companies, that's what I'm saying. LinkedIn is possibly the most effective. And also networking, joining the same societies that they join. When there's an oil and gas convention in Perth or your city, go to that and have your card or put a stall up, because when you're submitting proposals and tenders, you're looking for big jobs with a contract for a term. So, a contract is very powerful because it's money in the bank effectively, and you can borrow against it. So if you're chasing that level of certainty, then you have just kicked up to a whole new level of engagement. And it's a hands-off engagement when you're submitting the written document, and they evaluate it in a hands-off environment. So if they're looking at your proposal, they really need to have a subconscious face behind it. You've got to get in front of them, you've got to have your name known to them, so that you've got half a chance of being evaluated favourably. So chasing the face-to-face, even in an environment where you're submitting written proposals as a surrogate for the face-to-face meeting, you still need to have the face-to-face. Don't ever try and submit a proposal or a tender where you're not known. Your chances of success are very, very low.
So do they actually give you time when you ask for it?
To meet with them? No, not if the tender's out. No, probity won't allow them to meet with you. It's too late then to build that relationship. That's what I'm saying. Wait, if they're 18 months or less away, about 18 months before the contract is due, they're starting to think about the tendering process. And by the end of, by 12 months out, they're seriously working on the documentation to go back out to market. So it's front of mind. And at that point, they're also thinking about who they're going to invite, especially the private companies, because they're all invited a select tender. So that's the time you need to be in their front of mind. You need to have a face that they can relate to, and a company brand that they are aware of. So, and within 18 months, you can start positioning yourself as a trusted advisor and start shaping the requirements of the bid. So by the time it actually goes out to the market, you have a good chance of submitting a winning bid, because you basically wrote it.
Yeah.
You were by surrogacy, you influenced the content.
Yep.
But don't waste your time more than 18 months out, because they're busy in contract, they're not thinking about renewing, you'll just be a nuisance.
Yep.
So I'd like to say, Doug, target your effort. Make sure wherever you put your effort, you've got a chance of return. Otherwise, you're wasting your time.
Good systems in this case is also quite useful, because if you have a database of people that you interact with. You don't necessarily need to use it to be engaging with them all the time, but you can set yourself reminders and put information into the system about their tender process, about when things will happen. And through your networking and I guess building personal relationships, you will learn this information.
Yes.
And then if you put it in a system which will give you a reminder, okay, it's now 18 months before they're going to start, or they said they're going to start now, it's April 2014 or whatever. That's pretty useful for these things to pop up.
It is, and just a word of caution as a past buyer, if your name is in a system and you don't know the other person that's sending it, you will do yourself harm, a serious disservice, because they'll just see you as it's an unsolicited, spam in effect. So make sure that you've gained their permission to do that, and then they've allowed you, okayed you to engage with them. So you can automate it, absolutely, but have their permission first.
The automation can also be in the form of human tasks. In other words, it's not necessarily going to be an email that goes out automatically. It could also be a reminder to yourself to now start engaging with the company again and give them a phone call and whatever. But at least you know when these things are happening, and you can keep abreast of it.
That's a great point, because
control it.
When you think of automation, you're thinking about actually that email going out, but just a
no,
reminder itself is a good automation tool.
I think these days we've almost come full circle where the personal interaction sometimes is way more powerful. And you automate it to a point where it gives you a reminder, or it tells your VA, for instance, to send him something, or tells your assistant to do something for that client at that point. So it's orchestrated, but not automated in the sense that it's going to just fire off an email. It can be in the form of your personal assistant needs to buy a nice leather journal and send it out as a gift to a potential customer. And build the relationship in that way with human things, with tangible things, and not necessarily with email.
Brilliant. And it's almost time to start wrapping up, but do you have any sort of maybe 3 pointers or tips that people can take away from social media?
I highly recommend LinkedIn, like Sue and Anton have mentioned. So get on LinkedIn, start networking. The people that I've been able to network with are very high powered, and I would never have been able to connect with those sort of people if it wasn't for LinkedIn. So if you're not on it, actively use it. Secondly, Anton touched on something very important. Work out your sales funnel before you use social media. A lot of people just get online, post stuff, but there's no strategy behind it. No direction, that's right. Work out a sales funnel, because then you can then set up, if you're going to use Facebook, you can use Facebook ads as part of your sales funnel, and remarketing, retargeting, all that good stuff. And then thirdly, just don't be afraid to use it. I mean, I get probably 50% of my business through social media. So, and be able to expand beyond just Perth. Like, social media opens up the door with people all around the world.
You're pretty good on social media. Keep watching your posts coming up on LinkedIn and Facebook.
I know, it's good that it's working.
Yeah, it's good. Sue, do you have a couple of thank you?
Target your market and know who you're going to chase. But secondly, don't chase contracts or tenders that are bigger than you can handle as an organisation. A rule of thumb is if the size of the organisation and the size of the contract that they're going to let is more than 30% of your annual turnover, then they're probably too big for you at that point in time. So look for smaller chunks of work. So it doesn't mean don't go into the big businesses, but chase the big business where they've chunked the work into smaller components, so it's a doable size package. Secondly, do seek out the personal contact wherever you can. And thirdly, if you're going after a government business, that's good, considered to be good business, because they pay their bills. And
takes a while though.
They have it takes a while, but then so does any bureaucracy. Let's be clear about that. And they generally have very, very good processes. So they're worthwhile chasing, and they have a wealth of information out there on the internet that can help you walk in with a sound understanding and knowledge of their business, because every client loves that when you walk in and you act like you actually know something about their business first. So that would be my 3 key takeaways.
Yeah, I think I'd like to sort of link to what Doug has said, and to me it's about the sales funnel. Every single business has a sales funnel, whether they know it or not. You've got a sales funnel either by default or you've got it by design. And these days the technology allows you to design a sales funnel which not only sends out automated things like emails, but creates tasks for humans to create personal interaction, but it's in a structured, systemized, designed way, if you like. So you've designed this so that you give your client exactly the experience that you want them to have. And that depends on what your business is, what you're selling, whether you're selling bulk things online or where you're trying to capture the attention of a specific person. Your sales funnels will look different. But it's about designing the experience that you want your client to have with your business from the first moment they get in touch with your business all the way through.
Brilliant. There you go. Thank you again. I think we've all addressed some really good points here for our viewers to get quality leads and actually work with them. Thank you again, Doug, Anton, Sue. We'll see you again next month for the next case study and the next video. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank
You will.
Zeeshan. Yeah.